Hi there, we're back. This is the second part of our empathy video. We've already said that empathy is feeling with people, and we've said that empathy is vulnerable. But the third thing we'd have to say about empathy is empathy cannot want control. I think about myself as a dad. If I'm talking to my children and I am trying to listen with empathy, but if I want them to make a decision in a particular way, if I want something out of them, what's going to happen is I'm going to channel them in a particular direction. I've no longer kept my focus on feeling with them. I'm now actually more interested in what I want to get as an outcome. Let me give you an example from a congregation. I was working with a congregation on innovation, and they'd gone out and they'd done some listening. And one of the things that happened is this is a congregation that had a lot of elderly people, but they had a pocket of young and energetic young adults. And those young adults had gone and they'd been asked to go and listen to their peers and listen to their friends and come back and report to this strategic planning committee. And so they had done this thing and they'd come back, and the leader of the young adults said, "I'm not sure that you really want me to report this. Because what I'm worried about is if I tell you what conversation is like for people who are like me, what conversation is like for people that are my age, what'll happen is it'll freak you out and you won't know how to respond, and it will become all about you and not about my people." And the congregation, the little strategic planning team said, no, 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 no. There was one woman in particular who was just so kind and said, "We want to hear you on your terms." And she said, "What is it that really is worrying you?" And so the guy, his name was Zach, and Zach says, "Well, for example, if you were to read the Facebook feed or the social media feed of the people that are in my world, one of the things that you would see is a phrase that I'm afraid is going to freak you out." And the woman says, "Tell me about it." He says, "Well, you'd see this phrase called gender fluidity." And she says, "I don't know what that means." And as he started to explain it, he got half a sentence into it. And another elder said, "What are you talking about?" And he jumped in and he interrupted him and he said, "There are two things in this world. There's the kingdom of this world and there is this kingdom of heaven. And you are talking about the kingdom of this world." And he spent 15 minutes filibustering about how important it was to not pay attention to the kingdom of this world. In other words, he had to control the conversation, and it turned out to be exactly like Zach feared. Well, what happened after that? Two things. One is they never took up the question again, and Zach didn't feel safe talking to that group again. Leadership begins with listening, but it's listening with the kind of empathy that cannot want control.